Doctor, I have a few questions for you, and you're gonna answer them honestly.
Have
You're
I
not
ever
leaving
lied to
here.
you?
That's what we're gonna find out.
Hello.
Duh. Can't
His
talk.
guns and his melee weapon are over here.
Perfect. Alright. So, I need to eat before I do this interrogation. Can't interrogate on an empty stomach, I guess. Doc, when we met, you told me you created the antivirus, whatever.
You mean the antidote for the
Yes.
for the pox
Yes.
weapon? Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, what was that for exactly?
It's to reduce the side effects of the actual someone being exposed by the PRX weapon.
And, what about your experiments that you've been doing on people? What does that do?
It's to further my research and my understanding.
And what's your research, Doctor?
That's like I say, I do a lot of research. I research into trying to find an improvement to the POX antidote, as well as research into the actual infection itself.
Right. But why are you experimenting on people? What do the people have to do with this?
Like I said, every person who's taken part in my medical trials has done so voluntarily, whether it's through payment in supplies. Like I say, these experiments are non-lethal. They won't die.
But
from it.
what are your experiments? What are they? Explain them to me. What do they do?
Well, they may cause some side effects, like the first hour, someone may feel a bit sweaty. They may have some headaches, and it should pass within the first hour. If it doesn't, then it'll pass in about 24 hours.
You're avoiding the main question, Doc. What are they for? What are these medical experiments for? Why are you experimenting on people? What do they do? What is the point of it?
Before, like I say, before the outbreak itself, there was medical trials. People would undergo these medical trials before they could release medicine.
But what is? I get this, but what are you? I'm still not understanding the point of experimenting on people, whether it's willingly or not. What is this? What are you studying? What is this medical trial that you are doing? What is it for? And how are you testing it other than?
So the actual medical trial itself, like I say, I do have some. What I do is I have an experimental shot of like a sort of, you could say it's a vaccine. It's not really a vaccine. It's more of a. Like I say, it's how knowledgeable are you in the medical field?
I'm a vet tech.
Ah, fair enough.
So some medical, mostly with animals. But anyways, you continue.
Well, anyway, where was I? Yes. So, like I say, before the outbreak started, there would be a lot of medical trials, which medical scientists like myself would do to ensure that the medicine that before it gets released to the public is safe to use.
Doc, a couple people have spoken to me about you, telling me that these experiments aren't good.
Although, as I say, there's been a lot of people that have volunteered to go under these examinations, and not one person has died from them.
But what has happened? Because obviously, if people are talking about how bad they are, something has to have happened.
Well, there is some side effects. Like I say, it's non-lethal, but the actual injection itself can be quite painful. It can be described as being bitten by a fire ant or a bullet ant, and then it's quite pain. Like the initial injection can be quite painful, and they may be sweating for the first, have some headaches in the first hour. They should pass within the first hour. If it doesn't, then the symptoms may get a bit worse. There may be some vomiting involved, but I assure you, those symptoms will pass in 24 hours. There's zero chance that anyone would die with these medical trials.
Right. So, Ivan spoke to me earlier, and as much as I don't normally listen to what he has to say because of what he did in the past, he's not the first person to tell me that these experiments have gone wrong and that you're bad news pretty much. I haven't seen it, but I mean, we've all done bad things and we all seem innocent.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't done some questionable things in the past. I'm not an ethical doctor. I do bend a few rules to further the research in medical science, and I don't deny that. But it seems that the resistance is believing Russian propaganda. I have every person that has undergone these medical trials have survived. The only person that had just died was killed by the actual resistance themselves, rather than the actual experiment itself.
What happened in Moscow, Doctor?
I have no idea. You tell me.
Ivan? Care to elaborate on what you told me?
Moscow being a shithole. My home.
I have no idea. What's in Moscow, and why do you think I have anything to do with it?
Because you hired us. Oliver, you know that. The
No,
Russian
no, I
forces
didn't.
you hired, yes you did. Don't lie.
No, that's a lie. Like I say, before the outbreak, I sold you some product, and I also sold it to other countries as well. Like I say, I'm a British scientist who was working for an American company. I have no loyalties to Russia. So,
You had loyalty to Russia, you know you did. You're the ones that sent us here.
no, that's not true. Like I say, tell me what happened in Moscow.
The radiation bombing, Moscow being blown to bits, everything.
And
Radiation everywhere. We can't even have a fucking safe place to sit down and take a shit anymore.
I have no, like I said, radiation.
The bombings that are
I have
happening
nothing
here
to
in
do with it.
Livonia, the same as
Oh,
you
that's-
caused back home.
Oh, you mean? Oh, is Russia being struck by the POX? You mean?
The
Oh,
virus
yes, that's
you
not radiation.
created.
That's that.
The
I
bombings you
deny it.
caused.
I may have, like I say, I may have created a weapon before the outbreak. But like I say, see if a friend shot your friend. Would you go after the person that killed your friend, or would you go after the person that's created the weapon?
Both. I'm Russian after all. I'll kill whoever I need
Yes,
to.
yes. As I say, like I say, a weapon I had some hand in developing when I worked for my company. We sold it to the Russians, but we also sold it to other countries. Like I say, we were an American country. We had no loyalties to Russia.
See, he sold it to other countries. So who else is doing this?
I have no idea. it was quite a popular product.
Mhm.
You know, Doc, this is taking way too fucking long.
Put your gun away, Ivan.
Give me one good reason.
Ivan.
Well, you're surrounded by two people of the resistance who don't like Russians very much.
If I die because I get to kill you, then everything will be fine.
Put it
Put your
away.
fucking gun away.
You're gonna
You
have a
really
lot
wanna do
more
this?
hole, Ivan.
Do you really want to do this?
Can we all just calm down?
You agreed to come up and talk.
Done, I'm done talking. I'll kill the fucking doctor myself. Do you have any last words, Doc?
Ivan.
That's a
Yes, I
really
do.
dumb idea, Ivan.
I'm gonna give you the count of 3. And if you don't put your gun down, I'm putting a bullet in your head.
You're not going to do shit. Any last words, Doc?
1.
You have 5 seconds.
Yes. Oh, hold there. That's not a very long to, say my last
2.
words.
Ivan,
But like
I
I
mean
say,
it.
Come on, Ivan.
If you do kill me, like I say, you're from what the sound of it is that you're blaming me for the thing that happened in Moscow. I have no idea what happened in Moscow. I thought.
Lower your weapon.
Whew. The Russian is dead.